Hello, everybody. Welcome back to this season's episode on the productive mind. And with me is yet again the amazing, the fantastic Paul Cast. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.
It's always a pleasure to have you, and I am super excited already. so,
Yeah.
as we have been progressing in this season, today we're going to be having. I am honestly and sincerely excited. So, I would let him introduce himself. So, can you kindly introduce yourself, sir?
Uh, this is one part I'm always so what's the word I'm looking for? I don't ever have the right words to to express myself. Well, my name is Paul Cast. I'm a movie producer and director. That's pretty much it. I'm also an enthusiast, an adventure enthusiast. I'm also the author of How to Be a Man in the Crazy World. So anything media related is just that's where you have me, and so that's basically who I am. Thank you.
Fantastic, because this is exactly what we're looking for. We want to extract from you, from your experience and from your knowledge, obviously, in this space. So we'll just go straight into it. What does productivity mean to you, sir?
Productivity is really your ability to produce, create. In movie language, a producer is someone that um, conceptualizes an idea for a production and then is able to see it through beyond just ideation. It goes from there to having a plan and being able to hire the right people, get the right resources to see that idea that he had in his mind become a reality. And so that cuts across every sphere. Your ability to conceptualize, be to have an idea, or not, maybe not necessarily have an idea, but be part of an idea, and to be able to have the discipline and hone the skills necessary, or either having the skills or being able to manage the skills available to ensuring that what you had as a vision in your mind is being able to become reality. A lot of people have ideas all the time. I hear people all the time telling me, I have this great idea, this wonderful idea. And it's not really about an idea is nothing, it's ability to see it through and, make it become reality that really matters. Some people can tell me, what, I don't want anybody to steal my idea. I want you to steal my idea. I say all the time, there's no such thing as anybody stealing your idea. It's not about who has the idea, it's about who's able to make the idea become reality. That matters. And if somebody even in quotes, steals your idea, it's a wonderful thing because they are able to try out that idea and then you're able to look at and see what aspects of it can be improved upon, or what you can do better in making it become a reality. But some people are so narrow-minded; they're all about, my idea, and they don't necessarily need to tell people about it. And so you lose opportunity of collaboration with someone who would have had the resources or had this technical know-how to see it happen. And then because you just want to have it yourself, so you rather be 100% owner of a 1 million enterprise when you can be a 10% owner of a 1 billion enterprise. So it's really the ability to have that grit to pursue and follow through on something. Don't not just analyzing over analyzing and constantly talking about what you want to do but never do it, but being able to have the discipline to see it become reality. That's what productivity really is.
That's so deep. But the fact is, you mentioned something that is not just an idea; is making that idea come to fruition. So, what is a productive mind?
That's a very important question. How do I explain this? There are two words: the mind and productive. In that sense, of course, your mind is the part of you that hones your ability to think, your will, your
Mhm.
emotions, and your intellect. Right.
Yeah.
So, a productive mind, in my opinion, is a mind that is constantly doing,
Mm.
doing, getting things done. You are It doesn't necessarily matter how talented you are if you are not productive. You can have all the incredible talents in the world. Like I saw one video of Ed Sheeran on a talk show one time, and he told them that he wanted to play an audio of himself several years ago, and he was trying to prove that talent is nothing. There's no such
Mm,
thing as talent. Is There's nothing to talent, right? If it's not put to use. And he played the song. He played the song, and even the host was like, "Oh, please stop, please stop playing that song," because this his singing was so horrible. It was so he couldn't like the singing was horrible. A whole Ed Sheeran, right? And showing that it is in the process of doing that you get better. You don't necessarily become productive by constantly conceptualizing all the time
mm,
without getting to put practice, do things. So it's actually a productive mind is a disciplined mind, right? It's a disciplined mind that is always in the habit of execution and not just idealizing alone and being thinking figuring about ways of doing something better, always looking around your environment to see, okay, how can I improve on what's around here? So that sense of constant self-improvement or
mm.
desire to improve things around you is what I believe makes a productive mind.
Hmm. Okay. Now, on a more personal note, what are your daily habits to keep your mind productive?
For me, number one, curiosity. I'm always
Mm,
curious. I'm like a child. I have the mind and mentality of a child. I'm always
mm,
curious. I
mm,
want to know how things work. And exposure, the ability to expose your mind. I had an experience one time that I was on a set where I had about 200 people on set, both actors and extras. And I was building the set,
mm,
we're trying to design the whole set for the shoot.
mm,
And I spent months doing what we call a mood board
mm,
for the way it's gonna be set. So
mm,
my main art director was not around. He now sent his boys over to come and build the set. Number one problem. So these guys came, and after I had spent a lot of time explaining to them what I wanted, they ended up building something entirely different. So
mm,
I came into that set. I was so angry. I said, you know what, tear everything down. So they spent a long time hours building it, but it wasn't what I had in mind. Then as I had to explain to them again and again and again and again, but they just could not get it. Then my assistant director told me something very profound that I have not forgotten till now. She said, "You cannot tell people to do something that they have not really been exposed to.
mm.
So no matter how much you explain to them, they can only interpret what you're telling them based on their level of exposure."
Yeah.
So exposure is a big thing. It's a very big thing. Very, very big. So curiosity, exposure, then doing the little things. Doing the little things. You can become overwhelmed if you have something big to do and you don't break it down into little beats,
Yeah.
and then do the small one, then the next step, then the next step. It is those little accumulation of little habits or actions you take that accumulate and become something bigger. So for me, curiosity, I reading a lot. I read a lot. I'm constantly looking out for new information, and then of course trying out new things, asking myself, how can I constantly asking myself, what is the better way to doing this, and then learning from people.
Mm,
I don't. One of my mentors in film is way younger than I am. Way younger than I am. Right. It's about in fact, the gap between me and him is about 6 years. But I don't care about his age. Right. He's a better director than I am. So I even call him sir. Small boy. Call him sir. But when you don't look at those things, you don't look at age as it might be the same age, doesn't mean we are mates.
yeah.
Being the same age doesn't mean we are mates. It's about the track record you have already. So being humble enough to learn, being curious, having the mind, having the curiosity of a child, and
Mm.
then from there, yeah, that's actually what I would say at my personal core.
Fantastic. I love that. Now, you are a movie producer, um, and lots more. How do you set your goals, and then how do you achieve them?
Okay. How do I set my goals? First of all, I must first of all have a vision of what I want to achieve. First of
Mhm,
all, it must be clear to me. I will spend one of the things I do is that I like to stare a lot. I learned that from the great Bishop T.D. Jakes. I like to stare at whatever I'm doing. So when I look at it, because in staring at it,
mhm,
what I mean by staring is simply having moments of solitude to just
mm,
around something. So
mm,
it is clear in my mind exactly what it is I want to accomplish. Right now, my place as a director makes it in such a way that I cannot afford to not know
mm,
go on any set. So because if you're having like 200 people on the set, everyone is asking me. They're asking me questions, so I must have the answers to give them. So before I ever come on the set for anything, I must make sure I have clarity in my mind on what we want to accomplish,
mm,
different facets of that project, every single detail of it. I must have it in my at my beck and call. So before coming on, I must spend some time in quietness to really um, be clear on the vision that I want to accomplish. Then
mm,
the vision, the vision itself, it helps me to draw out a plan of accomplishments in that area. So those plans, you know, I learned this from I watched Harvey Specter in Suits, and I learned this from him. He said, I don't have dreams, I have goals."
mm,
And that was very profound because dreams, you can have big dreams that are just so futuristic and you don't have goals, which are simply daily steps you take toward accomplishing them. So, so the same print for me as well. So I break it down to smaller goals, and then those goals now, and I develop action plans, actionable steps that may not make sense, but they are small enough.
mm,
I do like to put a lot of things that I'm doing, but I like to break it down to gradual things I'm doing. And so
mm,
that enables me to, so I must have clarity of the goal, first of all, in my mind, then break it down into plans, actionable plans, then be able to take those steps one after the other. I don't really have like a lot of plans regarding one goal, but a few, maybe like
mm.
five steps to take. Because you can do 5 steps, but if you have like 15 steps, there's a high chance you may not do anything. So yeah, I like to keep it simple. Then also delegate as well. Delegate.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in delegating because I only have 24 hours in a day. So I can, and beyond my work, I also have to think about family as well. Think about relationship and things like that. So being able to have that balance, and so I delegate to people that I know are competent in the job. Then also having a great team, not just a team who are just people who are available. Like I don't most of the time as a personal rule, I don't really
Mm,
do work with family members or my best friends. I don't do that,
mm,
except the friend that I know that they know how to distinguish between my guy, and
yeah.
because if you do my guy, and it will make the work suffer.
Yeah.
So I hardly employ my friends on my projects or my family members. I don't. In fact, family members, no, completely no, no way. So delegation is a very big key, big thing. Yeah.
You mentioned balancing all of this. So, how do you balance your productivity, rest, and relaxation?
Mm. Well, I would say I'm a work in progress. To be honest, I'm a work in progress. I'm still learning. I'm still really learning because
Mm,
I can be terrible with rest. By the time I just came out of production. We hardly slept in a week, like 2 hours of sleeping every day. But so for me, when people say work-life balance, I don't really believe in work-life balance. I believe in more like integrating both
mhm,
of making your work fun, at the same time, understanding the stage and the phase you are in, and also realizing that the people that are in your life don't have to suffer because
mm,
of what you do, because your work may not be there for you every time you lie. It will not come to meet you in the hospital bed, but it's people that you invest in, your family, your friends that will be there when you really need it the most. So for me, I know how to distinguish between work and I create time. I create time. I like to go. Uh, um, what's the thing called again? Playing archery. I like to do adventure. Adventure is my thing. That's how I relax. I like to play video games. I go to my friend's place. I will play video game all day. So it's for
Yeah.
me when I have projects, I give everything to that project to see it become real. But when we're done, I have to now create time for the things that also refresh, spend time with
Mm.
people as well and all that. So yeah, that's how I try to do it. But like I
Okay.
said, it's still not perfect yet. I'm still in the process. I'm still learning
Yeah.
because yeah.
I understand that perfectly. So, in all this, what are the strategies that you use, your own strategies to avoid stress and burnout?
Hmm. What do I use? Strategy to avoid stress and burnout. That's a tough one. What works for me though, not just necessarily like a general
Yeah.
rule for
Yeah.
everybody else. Um, if what I'm doing, except there's a tight deadline that I must meet for that work, no, which is not every single time. I like to start things early.
Mm.
When a client consults, I consult a client. I don't like them putting me under pressure. It was when I was upcoming that I would take any kind of job, but now I don't do that anymore. So you must give me ample time. For
Yeah.
instance, it takes a while for me to do what I do. So about a month, it's a month long for each of my projects. So that time allows me the chance to really, really take my time on it. So um, I like to start early on something. That way, I can actually structure it in the day. Once I have my rule of how much time I give to something, except the deadline for that thing is very, very tight. Maybe by something we just could not control, and you can't give an excuse to a client in
Mm.
getting that done. So that is only what will keep me working overtime
Mm.
on that. But if it is something that I've already had an ample time given for that project, I work within about 10 to 12 hours a day.
Mm. Mm.
So I stick with that rule. So once the 12 hours is exhausted, I don't do anything anymore regarding any work that day.
Yeah.
So once 12 hours is done, that's enough. I can go on to other things. No matter if you like, tell me what tell me, I'll tell you, bro, till the next day. So having personal rules,
Mm.
weekends. I don't let myself work on Saturdays and Sundays, except it is something that is very, very extraordinary that
Mm.
takes my attention. That's when I can do that. But Mondays to Fridays is strictly the time for work. And to giving that 12 hours mark is what I work with. So once that time is exhausted, you can't call me at night. You can't call me at certain times, no matter how
Mm.
important it is. I'll just let you know you can have it
Yeah.
next. So giving those personal rules of what you uh, cannot take also makes the people that work with you respect your time,
Yeah.
and you're not allowing yourself kill yourself in the bid to try to satisfy somebody else's thing. So yeah, for me that's actually my personal rule engagement.
Hmm. Okay. I think I should learn. I should learn. I should learn from that, because sometimes you are so engrossed in your things, and then someone needs your attention, and you feel like I really owe this person this thing. Let me, but then it's at your own, disadvantage. Like you are really, really disadvantaged because it takes a lot of you. But anyway, was there any time in your life, any phase in your life that you were most unproductive, and then how did you turn it around?
Wow, there were so many, so many. Countless moments of unproductivity, mainly from people.
Mm.
Um, my kind of personality, I'm a people person, right?
Yeah.
I interact with people a lot, but a lot of times, unnecessary calls that come in and then they take so much time. One time I was talking to someone and we spoke for about 30 minutes or 40 minutes or so. And I was like, what are we really talking about in the first place? so so it was so annoying when I realized 40 minutes has just gone, and I didn't. It's not like it's not my girlfriend, it's not my wife. It's just any random person that I'm talking to.
Yeah.
So for me, I've had those moments several times, which I had to now develop a strict rule
Mm,
for. There are moments where you take that's some jobs from a client, and it's a complete waste of your time, complete
mm,
waste, like absolute waste. For me, what I did to tackle that is I have a strict rule when it comes to dealing with clients. Before we even begin the work, I'll have a consultation phase which lets you know what the rules are. If let's say a production studio hires me to direct a project for them, what I do is that I want to ensure that I have absolute creative control over the material, so that
mm,
as we you don't interfere with what's happening. So that consultation phase enables us to have an understanding of where the boundaries are, how you can come in, and what I'm to do, what the expectations from me are, and how the boundaries each of us will not cross.
mm,
So we don't waste our time. And if you're not going to release resources for that project, there's no point having it done. So clarifying that at the get go matters. Then secondly, for unnecessary phone calls, I keep it strictly to 10 minutes. That's for a big, let's say big talk, except if it's not business related, if it's not romantic interest, if it's just every day, just hi, my guy, my guy, my guy, except it's someone that we've not spoken for a very, very long time. And I'm seeing that there's substance to the conversation,
mm.
but I keep it strictly 10 minutes. Once the 10 minutes is over, I'll start doing from like 7 minutes. I gotta go. So that once the time is off, I'm going. See you later, man. Peace out. you know,
Mm. I can suspect that that really took a lot from you, since you have to make this 10 minutes rule. And to be honest, people most times think they are in control of their time, but they are not,
you're not. Yeah,
except if you have these strict rules. Hmm.
true. Yeah, it's
most
so true.
times most times when I record this thing, it is first a personal challenge to me before even it goes out there. But that's a fantastic one. Anyway, as we are gradually coming to an end with this, um how has technology impacted your productivity?
In a lot of ways, in a whole lot of ways, a whole lot of ways. It has really, to me, it has really enhanced my productivity. Actually, I don't. The tool itself is not bad. It's just how it's used that matters.
Mm,
Especially social media,
yeah.
uh, also as well. The thing is, the way we are natural. This is how I think about it. A human being is a bundle of so much power.
Mm,
Um, what I mean by that, if you think, I like to use the analogy of electricity, right? Now, think about in Nigeria where we are, we we get our power source from Kanji Dam, right? Now, when that current is released from or voltage released from Kanji Dam, if it's released in its raw form, it has the capacity of destroying a whole city.
yeah.
But what makes that same thing, that same current become useful in powering your house, in lighting your house, in turning on your TV, charging your phone, is because there's something called a transformer, a regulator, that steps down that voltage and makes what was formerly dangerous become useful and
Mm,
usable,
mm,
right? So the same thing when it comes to you as a person. You must regulate yourself with technology. It is a tool, and every tool can either you depending on how you use it, it can either destroy you or
mm,
increase your productivity. For instance, developing like having reminders on your phone to remind you of specific appointment. Like for me, that I'm terrible with remembering appointments. That's what helps me with that. Using it as an enhancer, a tool of enhancement for learning, a learning tool for being exposed to other parts of the world, interacting with people, getting new ideas. Like this young man that mentors me is from University of South Carolina, one of the best film schools in the world. right? So we often would, interact and go over my ideas. Like sometimes he would send me his own project, his Netflix project, and I would go over the whole thing and then, give him feedback. And he also would look at my project as well and then give me feedback. So
Mm.
in a way, in making the world more interactive, we're able to enhance our productivity, be exposed to different parts of the world that we never thought possible.
Mm.
And by so doing, broadening our horizon,
Mm.
we're able to see things more differently, in
Mm.
those ways. At the same time, if it's not rightly guarded, it can go to the other extreme of being unproductive. Yeah,
Yeah.
some people a smartphone can make someone dull sometimes if you don't use it for the right reason.
Mm.
So yeah, it's a tool of enhancement. However, how we use it determines what results we'll get. So I like to think about the the positive side of it, of how we can make the best of it, right? And what will just take our time, because it is my rule. If when it comes to money and time, right? Between money and time, I like to always go for time over money, because I may lose money and today and make it back tomorrow, but if I lose time, I cannot
Never
buy
recovered.
time, right?
Mm.
So that's a very big thing. So for me, I use it as a tool to enhance my productivity by shortening the time frame that things would have been done, looking out for ways to shorten time frames, do it faster and quicker and earlier than instead of having to slow it down for too long. So yeah, it's a tool of that can be very advantageous if we use it wisely. Yeah.
What is your biggest productivity strategy?
Strategy. Well, that's a deep question. That's a very. I've actually never thought about it that way, but like I said, I like to simplify things.
Mm.
Simplify things. I always say this: there's no such thing as a difficult concept. It's always about your mind. If
Mm.
you only knew, if you know how to, like for instance, I'll give you an example. Back in secondary school, I was never good in physics. There was um, a thing where you actually create charts, and you just they will have this table that has this funny looking figures, 0.0043, 0.0004 something, and I never could get how you can draw a graph from that thing. How would you? Well, in my case, my graph, you just have the points all knitted together in one spot. So I'm like, what is wrong with these people, man? I
Yeah.
always feel I failed it gallantly until I went to the teacher and then asked me, I said, sir, I keep failing this thing. I don't know what to do about it. Then he now pointed out my error and said, actually, you're not meant to, because in my graph, on the horizontal, on the vertical side, I would start from like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then
Mm.
so like that's the first error that I was
Mm.
in the having them, the gap between the interval were one numbers, right? But he was like, you should start with, if it's a 0.004 something, start with 0.004. It then comes to be 0.00, maybe 4, 5, then 0.0050, like that. Make the intervals according to um, the numbers that I give. And then when I learned that, I never failed that course again. Never,
Mm.
never failed it.
Mm.
So a lot of times we become unproductive when we don't really know. Um, we don't have adequate knowledge about that concept. So for me, I like to break it down. Then also knowing exactly what it is, taking step by step. Is only difficult if you want to do everything at once. Look at the
Mm.
whole thing at once. It looks very big and difficult. But if you take it step by step, you will definitely be able to do it, accomplish it. Yeah, that's how I like to look at it.
Hmm. Taking it one step at a time, bit by bit. I love
Abs-
it. I love it. Before the final question, who or what has influenced you the most in your productivity?
Who or what? Oh, can I answer you? Can I say
Yes,
the
you can. Sure, sure.
who? Well, who? So I have mentors
Mm,
with. My
mm,
mentors are people I really respect a lot.
mm,
So um, I allow myself be coached
mm,
properly, and a lot of times it's never convenient. So my mentors actually are a big push for me. Um, then also time also is a very big push for me.
mm,
Time. I look at so I grew up around old people, um,
mm,
80s, 70-year-olds, and when I used to look at them and ask myself, you know, um, I asked one of them one very simple question. I said, "What do you regret the most?" And the man told me, he said, it's not the mistakes he made that he regrets the most, but the things he wished he did but he never did,
mm,
out of fear or whatever." So as I will look at them, because a lot of times we can think that we have all the time in the world, right?
mm,
One time you're young, and next time you're old. So I like to, you know, have that mindset, and of course, my big belief in who God is,
mm,
and the fact that He's giving an opportunity to do something, and so whatever projects I do, I always my belief, my faith is a very big part of what I do. So it motivates my decisions and choices when it comes to my projects. There are some elements that sometimes an executive producer who is actually an investor would want to include in the project, but it goes contrary to my faith. I would never do it. I don't care how much the money is. I had
mm,
so many offers like in 2020 to do some crazy things, but I just had to stand up and walk away. They were difficult to do because I wanted the money. I'm a young man. Money is good, but you have to make a choice. Would you sacrifice your belief and your soul just for
mm,
uh, what you can get? And this is how I always think about it. If I don't have the money today, I'll make it tomorrow. But if I if I make that decision of compromising today, that thing is always going to be there. And also my future children as well. I don't have kids now, but I like to ask myself what my kids would think, if they
mm,
get what I'm doing right now.
mm,
So they motivate me. I always think about that. I want my kids to walk into any store and they're like, "Hey, are you podcast son?" I tell you, "Yeah." "Oh, your father was this and that." And I see, I motivate. He's the one that did for me. So I like thinking about that. Posterity and legacy is a very big thing for me, and that informs my decisions and choices. If I do what I do because of posterity, to
mm,
be honest. And so that's something that I don't joke with. So I always look at what I do through the lens of, is this something that if my kids got to know about, they would be proud of, or will I have to sugarcoat and lie to them
mm,
about something just to make them feel, So you can always, and then also, the if whatever you can lie about, you can as well just put in the work to getting it done.
mm,
If you have to lie about what you do, because you're just hard lazy, you can as well just put in the work and get it done and still be what
mm.
to deceive
True.
people for. So usually, so what motivates me, who motivates my mentors motivate me, God motivates me, and my principle in scriptures motivates me. Yeah, you then of course posterity motivates me. That's actually how I see it.
Wow, such a thought provoking episode. Thank you so much for coming on this podcast. Always willing and available every time I call on you.
And
Please, I am still applying for the position of your PA, sir.
uh,
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much, sir.
anytime. Thank you so
All
much
right.
for.
All right.
Thank
So
you.
guys, you have heard a lot from his experience and from his knowledge, and feel free to contact him. He's my boss. He's my organ. As you can see, I'm trying to lobby to be his PA, but he's trying to deny me that. But thank you guys for watching. See you on the next episode. Bye bye.